The Brahman Jad Bharat became very kind to King Rahugan, and to disassociate him from the material world, he spoke figuratively of the forest of the material world. He explained that this material world is like a great forest in which one becomes entangled due to association with material life. In this forest, there are plunderers, the six senses, as well as carnivorous animals like jackals, wolves, and lions, wife, children, and other relatives, who are always anxious to suck the blood from the head of the family. The forest plunderers and the carnivorous blood-sucking animals combine to exploit the energy of a man within this material world. In this forest, there is also a black hole covered by grass into which one may fall. Coming into the forest and being captivated by so many material attractions, one identifies himself with this material world, society, friendship, love, and family. Having lost the path and not knowing where to go, being harassed by animals and birds, one is also victimized by many desires. Thus, one works very hard within the forest and wanders here and there. He becomes captivated by temporary happiness and becomes aggrieved by so-called distress. Actually, one simply suffers in the forest from so-called happiness and distress. Puzzled, he is attacked by a snake, deep sleep, and due to the snake bite, he loses consciousness and becomes puzzled and bewildered about discharging his duties. Sometimes he is attracted by a woman other than his wife, and thus he thinks he enjoys extramarital love with another woman. He is attacked by various diseases, by lamentation, and by summer and winter. Thus, one within the forest of the material world suffers the pain of material existence. Expecting to become happy, the living entity changes its position from one place to another. But actually, a materialistic person within the material world is never happy. Being constantly engaged in materialistic activities, he is always disturbed. He forgets that one day he has to die. Although he suffers severely, being illusioned by the material energy, he still hankers after material happiness. In this way, he completely forgets his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By hearing this from Jad Bharat, Maharaj Rahugan revived his Krishna consciousness and thus benefited from Jad Bharat's association. He could understand that his illusion was over and he begged pardon from Jad Bharat for his misbehavior. All this was told to Maharaj Parikshit by Sukdev Goswami. We will read text number 1. Venkat Narasimha Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Brahmana vacha turacyaye advanyajaya nivesito rajastama sattva vibhakta karmadruk sayesha vardo ardhaparaha paribhraman bhavatavim yatina sharma vindati. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you. Madhumai Krishna Kanta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Brahmana uvacha duratyaye advanya duratyaye advanya jaya niveshito rajastamaha sattva vibhakta karmadruk saye paraha paribhraman bhavatavim yati na sharma vindati. Thank you, Mataji.
Chitramohini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Brahmana uvacha duratyaye advanya ajaya niveshito rajastama sattva vibhakta karmadru sa esha sarto artha para paribhrahman bhavatavi yati na sharma vindati. Hare Krishna.
Reena Gupta Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam Mataji.
Dandat Pranam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Brahmana uvacha duratyaye dhvanye jaya niveshito rajastama sattva vibhakta karmadrik saeshu sarthor para paribhraman bhavataviyati na sharma vindati. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna. Madhu Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare कृष्ण माताजी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
दंडवत प्रणाम।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ब्राह्मण उवाच दुरत्येय अध्वन्यजया निवेशितो रजस्तमः सत्त्वविभक्त कर्मदृक् स एष सार्थो अर्थपरः परिभ्रमन् भवाटवीं याति न शर्म विन्दति। थैंक यू माताजी, हरे कृष्ण।
प्रेम प्रिया जय श्री माता जी, हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, दंडवत प्रणाम। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ब्राह्मण उवाच दुरत्यये अध्वनि अजया निवेशितो रजस्तमः सत्त्व विभक्त कर्मदृक् स एष सार्थो अर्थपरः परिब्रह्मन् भवाटवीं याति न शर्म विन्दति। हरे कृष्ण माताजी।
थैंक यू। विजय कुमारी माता जी, हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ब्राह्मण उवाच द्वितीय अत्वनि अजय निवेशितो रजस्तम सत्व विभक्त कर्म स एष साधु अर्ध परिभ्रमं पवाडवीं यादिना शर्म विन्दति। हरे कृष्ण। थैंक यू माताजी।
श्रीनिवास दयामयी प्रभु।
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्ण।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ब्राह्मणो उवाच दुरत्यये अध्वन्यजया निवेशितो रजस्तमः सत्त्वविभक्त कर्मदृक् स एष सार्धो अर्थपरः परिभ्रमन् भवाटवीं याति न शर्म विन्दति। हरे कृष्ण माता।
थैंक यू। शुभराव प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
धन्यवाद।
ब्राह्मण उवाच दुरत्यये ध्वन्यजया निवेशितो रजस्तमः सत्त्वविभक्त कर्मदृक् स एष सार्थोत्तपरः परिभ्रमन् भवाटवीं याति न शर्म विन्दति। हरे
थैंक यू। प्रफुल्ला माता जी, हरे कृष्णा।
हरे प्रणाम माताजी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ब्राह्मण उवाच दुरत्ययध्वन्यजया निवेशितो रजस्तम सत्त्व विभक्त कर्मदृक् स एष सार्थो अर्थपरः परिभ्रमन् भवाटिवीं याति न शर्म विन्दति। हरे कृष्ण माताजी। थैंक यू माताजी।
थैंक यू। ब्राह्मण उवाच दुरत्यये अध्वनि अजया निवेशितो रजस्तमः सत्त्व विभक्त कर्मदृक् स एष सार्थो अर्थपरा परिभ्रमन् भवात्वमिं याति न शर्म विन्दति। Brahman Uvacha, the Brahman Jad Bharat continued to speak. Duratyaye, which is very difficult to transverse, Advani, on the path of fruitive activities. Performing actions in this life, creating a body in the next life by those actions, and in this way continuously accepting birth and death. Ajaya, by Maya, the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Niveshitaha, caused to enter. Raja Tama Sattva Vibhikta Karmadrik, a conditioned soul who sees only immediately beneficial fruitive activities and their results, which are divided into three groups by the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Saha, he. Eshaha, this. Sa, artha, the living entity falsely seeking sense gratification. Artha paraha, intent upon gaining wealth. Paribhraman, wandering all over. Bhava avatvim, the forest known as Bhava, which means the repetition of birth and death. Yati, enters, na, not, sharma, happiness, vindati, obtains. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. Jad Bharat, who had fully realized Brahman, continued, my dear King Raghugan, the living entity wanders on the path of the material world, which is very difficult for him to traverse, and he accepts repeated birth and death, being captivated by the material world under the influence of the three modes of material nature, Sattva-gun, Raja-gun, and Tamo-gun. The living entity can see only the three fruits of activities under the spell of material nature. These fruits are auspicious, inauspicious, and mixed. He thus becomes attached to religion, economic development, sense gratification, and the monistic theory of liberation merging with the Supreme. He works very hard day and night, exactly like a merchant who enters a forest to acquire some articles to sell later for profit. However, he cannot really achieve happiness within this material world. Purport Past Divine Geshe Prabhupada Baat Ki Jai. One can very easily understand how difficult and insurmountable the path of sense gratification is. Not knowing what the path of sense gratification is, one becomes implicated in the repetition of birth and accepts different types of bodies again and again. Thus, one suffers in material existence. In this life, one may think that he is very happy being an American, Indian, Englishman, or German. But in the next life, one has to accept another body among 8,000,004 species. The next body has to be immediately accepted according to karma. One will be forced to accept a certain type of body, and protesting will not help. That is the stringent law of nature. Due to the living entity's ignorance of this eternal blissful life, he becomes attracted to material activities under the spell of Maya. In this world, he can never experience happiness, yet he works very hard to do so. This is called Maya. Om Ajnant Mirandasya Gyananjan Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahiyam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sandhu Pingbandhu Jagatpate Hare Krishna Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Saptakanchen Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishbhanuste Devi Pranamami Hari Priya. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव सादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमामि विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांता स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे Jat Bharat, who had fully realized Brahman, continued, "My dear King Rahugan, the living entity wanders on the path of material world, which is very difficult for him to traverse. Thus he accepts repeated birth and death, being captivated by the material world under the influence of the three modes of material nature, Sattvagun, Rajagun, and Tamogun. The living entity can see only the three fruits of activities under the spell of material nature. These fruits are auspicious, inauspicious, and mixed. He thus becomes attached to religion, economic development, sense gratification, and the monistic theory of liberation, merging it with the Supreme. He works very hard day and night, exactly like a merchant who enters a forest to acquire some articles to sell later for profit. However, he cannot really achieve happiness within this material world. Okay, we have started chapter 13. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, the creative impetus, chapter number 13. Do you remember the name of the chapter? Further
talk King Rahugana and Jada Bharat.
Yes, further talks between King Rahugan and Jad Bharat. Okay, we'll quickly talk about this and then we'll go back to reflections on the 12th. Okay, so we here, you see Srimad Bhagavatam, the devotees or the pure devotees are adopting different methodology of telling us the futility of material life. Right, we had this is an allegorical study now because the next chapter is a very famous chapter in 5th canto called the Forest of Enjoyment. So this is like a stepping stone for the next chapter to study. So it's an allegory, like it's an allegory that this material world is compared to a forest of enjoyment, and we're not supposed to be in forest of this enjoyment. Okay, remember there was another pastime where there was an allegory of something, a story.
Puranjana, Mataji.
Very nice.
It compares
Puranjani and Puranjana.
city with 9 gates.
Yeah, Puranjana, right? So Puranjana is a complete allegory of recited by Narad Muni. So here Jad Bharat is reciting this to Krishna, Rahugan, basically for all of us, just to reinforce. This is the last chapter ended by the last instruction that take the shelter of a pure devotee, because that's where the entire protection lies. Now this chapter is saying if we don't take shelter of a pure devotee, if we don't do it, then this is where we end up. Okay, so we're getting the whole view. But because it is very difficult, because most of us think that we are very comfortable with our lives, there's not much problem, You ask people, how are you? In America, there's this, we are walking on the road and they just ask you, how are you? What do you think most of us will answer? How are you?
Oh, I'm good.
Fine, good.
Huh?
Fine.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine, right? So, but
Yeah.
are we really fine? That is why Jat Bharat has to take an allegorical example, because if he completely puts a spotlight on Maharaj Raugan, which he did actually, which he did in one or two verses in the last chapter, but he completely puts a spotlight on him that actually you're completely, the life is futile. What are you doing with your life? Right? You're gonna die anytime, and you have not achieved the goal of a human form of life. उससे कुछ होने वाला नहीं है. He knows that it is not going to leave an impact. So it is always easier to look at somebody else or something else and then analyze that, right? Swami Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj says that we are very easily judges of the others' lives and lawyers of our own life. So we are defensive. We defend, what I did is right because dag, 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 dag. If you ask a person suffering from some mental health disease, they're able to rationalize why they're doing what they're doing. They're able to rationalize their thoughts, they're able to rationalize their actions, because it's a mind game, The mind is the thing that keeps us implicated. Whether the mind is in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, whether we are doing an auspicious activity, inauspicious activity, or a mixed activity, it's going to keep us. We are never going to transgress the mind. The only way to come to the Krishna consciousness is to not listen to the mind, neglect it. Remember? When we discuss that, neglect it. Do not listen to it. Watch it. Watch its movement, but don't listen to it. So in that way, he's saying that it is a very difficult life in this world. See, the Shastras and the pure devotees are accepting that our life is very difficult. Okay, and then we really cannot achieve happiness in this world. It doesn't mean that there is no happiness. I told a story about a person who was searching for his keys under the street lamp. Yeah, remember the story? Do you remember? You
Yeah.
don't?
Yes,
Yes.
Mataji.
Yes. Yes, Mataji.
Everybody remembers?
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so you see, that person was searching for keys under the street light, and the police patrol car came and said, why are you searching? What are you doing under the street light at midnight? Said, I'm looking for the house keys. Where is your house? Oh, it's 100 meters away. So are you sure you dropped your keys over here? The person said, no, I'm not sure, but there is light here and it's dark there, so it's easy to look here. Basically, what it means is that we are looking for happiness, but we are looking at it in the wrong place. Okay. And this is not the first time we are doing it. According to the Shastra Chakshu, I'm not saying it. Shastras are saying it. See, so transfers for him, so he accepts repeated birth and death. Being captivated by the material world under the influence of three modes of material nature, the living entity can only see the three fruits of activities under the spell of material nature. And it is becoming more and more and more complex. We think our life is becoming more and more and more easy, but it's becoming more and more and more complex according to the Shastras, right? Because we are going away from Krishna. Any activity which is taking us away from our center of life, which is Krishna consciousness, is making our life more difficult. My friend Chiti Shakti, she broadcast with BBC, like I told, I think everyone. So she was asked this question, that what is the importance of spiritual life in today's world? What is the importance? And she said, oh, I loved her answer. Should I tell what she said? If you ask her, what is the importance of spiritual life in today's world? What is the importance?
It's Mataji is getting way led. So in this way led spiritual world, I mean material world, spiritual life is very important, Mataji. Otherwise, we cannot cope with the happenings.
Okay, to cope up with the material life. Okay. Okay. What else? Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji Dandavat Pranam. Actually, we don't know where are we are trying to go, where we have to go. So spiritual life is giving us that light or that way that where miss तुम कहाँ पे हो और तुम्हें कहाँ पे जाना है,
Hmm.
तुम वो सब रास्ता स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ ही दिखाती है, उसके बिना नहीं जा सकते हम।
Hmm. Okay,
हरे
thank
कृष्ण।
you. Okay, anyone else?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah,
We'll
Chata
get
Mataji.
that.
Mataji will get to know how to lead our life. We don't know how it will be, and we get connected to God, and we start loving, and we get inner happiness.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. So my friend, she answered, she said that there's a constant flux of change around us, right? Our bodies are changing, our uh, living conditions are changing, circumstances are changing, climate is changing, everything is changing. There's nothing which is fixed. But spirituality gives one a fundamental fundamental knowledge that I am actually not changeable. I'm fixed as a soul. I'm fixed at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'm fixed. There are changes going on around me, but I can be. That way, even though our external world is constantly changing, we can actually find a home within us which is not changing. Yeah, I actually loved her answer. So we can actually find a home within us which is not changing. So, because we don't like to change, we don't want anyone here sitting can't wait to die and see what's after that. Huh? Anybody here? Oh, is my
No,
connection?
Mataji.
Right, Mataji? Yeah.
So, if somebody is behaving like that or saying like that, that means that person needs help. This person has actually the most fundamental independence of a human being is for the zest to live, the most fundamental independence. If we lose that most fundamental independence, then there's nothing remaining, right? So zest to live. So we actually to continue to live, actually want to live a healthy life. We don't like to be sick. We don't like to be out of shape, or we don't like to be not in knowledge. We don't like to be not look beautiful, right? So, but because we don't like these changes, but they're forced on us. So where do you? So we are in this mismatch environment. So Krishna consciousness bridges the gap, tells us that I am in this world, but I'm not a part of this world. The changes are happening to the body, but it's not happening to me as a soul. Okay, that stops. That stops. If that particular realization stops our transmigration to another birth and death, if we actually stay fixed in that particular aspect, that this is where my heart is and this is what I'm going to do in this life. There are going to be changes, but I am not going to get affected because my responsibility is to stay fixed at the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so this is what the forest of enjoyment is about, that how are we going to bridge the gap between I want to be happy, I want to be, and go on living, but the circumstances are always not like that, and there is struggle for everything, and the happiness in this material world is in a rain check. You know what's a rain check? Rain check is like you write a check for future. Let's say I write a check for 10 years from now, okay, $1 million, but only 10 years from now. So basically, a person has to wait 10 years to cash that check. So basically, if somebody wants to be happy in this world, they have to catch something in future. This is how it's mode of passion. No, earth is not a mode of passion. Something in future will, and that hope drives that person to that future. When that future comes, they get it. It's not that much of a happiness. Then something else, and something else, and something else, and then we go on. But Krishna consciousness gives us stability that there's no need to get rain checks of these illusory happiness, because I can be happy right now where I am. Okay, questions, reflections, realizations, corrections. I want to spend like 5 minutes on.
You're muted, Mataji.
I am not muted.
Now it's fine. Little while ago, I was not able to hear. No, Mataji. Now it's fine.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
These four things, the dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, Mataji. people get attached. In that dharma means dharma is equal to religion, or religion, dharma is spirituality.
No, it is in the mode of nature. So here dharma, artha, kama, moksha means one is leading to another. That I will do some religious activity so that I can become rich, because being rich will satisfy my senses, but one day I will get frustrated with all these riches, and then I will go for monastic theory of liberation. That is a continuous cycle. You have to look at the whole context, not just one thing. The whole context is starting from here, right? Being captivated by the material world under the influence of the three modes of material nature, sattva gun, rajagun, tamogun. Living entity can see only the three fruits of activities under the spell of material nature. These fruits are auspicious, inauspicious, mixed. He thus becomes attached to religion, economic development, sense gratification, and monastic theory of liberation. Okay, it's in this context. Okay.
Because Prabhupada says religion is different from spirituality. There I got this little dilemma.
So is the word religion translated as dharma here? It could be, that's fine, but
the normal word we use dharma, artha, kama, moksha. In every mantra,
yes.
People say.
Yes. Yes, there is no need to get confused, because you have to look at the whole context in which we are using. One Sanskrit word can be used in many ways, like Atma has so many meanings. Brahman has so many meanings, right?
Correct. Thank you.
So look at the whole context, okay? Okay, what are your reflections from the last chapter? Please raise your hand. In last chapter, there was a conversation between Jad Bharat and Maharaj Rahugan, where Maharaj Rahugan humbly submitted himself at the lotus feet of Jad Bharat for him to repeat the instructions, for he could not understand what Jad Bharat was saying. And Jad Bharat starts talking again the instructions by first chastising Maharaj Rahugan and saying that the example of earth, right? The body is made of earth. And then this is earth is made of atomic particles, and behind the atomic particles is the absolute truth. And the absolute truth is understood by serving the pure devotees. Right? This is what the channel was. So what are your reflections?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Suramya Mataji, Suramya Madhavi.
Mataji, that everything living or non-living, moving or non-moving, they are just transformations of the earth in different ways.
The bodies, okay?
Bodies.
Okay, material. Okay. Thank you. Reena Gupta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. We have to cut the illusion by the knowledge of Guru Kripa and Shastras also. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so cut the illusion.
Asanga Shastri. We read Asanga Shastri.
Hridayena Chitva.
Yes, Mataji.
कहाँ पे था असंग शस्त्रेण धृतेन छित्त्वा
15th
15th chapter. Isha, you know this verse.
15.3
धृतेन छित्त्वा. Cut the illusion by weapon of
Purushottam Yoga.
until knowledge. Yes, my daughter sings this verse. That's why I was... Okay, what else? Prafulla Mataji. Thank you, Reena Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The ultimate is the non-dual knowledge, and it is all-pervading, free from material contamination, and it cannot be realized either by any varna or ashram, but by serving the lotus feet of the mercy of devotee, pure devotee.
Okay, service. Thank you. Service to the lotus feet of a pure devotee opens the pathway to spiritual world. Is it good, Mataji? Is it okay?
Yes, Mataji.
Acha, thank you. Madhumaya Krishna Kanta Mataji.
A pure devotee. Who is a pure devotee? And pure devotee is the one who is not interested in any Gramya Katha, and he is not interested in any the discussion of politics or sociology. He is always speaking in terms of only the forms, names, qualities, and the pastimes of Supreme Lord. So we have to associate with pure devotees, such pure devotees.
Thank you. Shubha Rao Prabhuji.
Though the universe is appearing as temporary, Mataji, it was due to the collection of these atoms, and these atoms are also they're also temporary. But it is not the cause for the universe. But whatever the people think that it is due to the collective thing of atoms is not truth. That is also said.
So what do you want me to write? What is your realization?
It is not having any existence, this universe.
Okay, the material world.
There's no true existence.
We don't say no true existence. We say it is temporary.
Temporary, right? Temporary.
Okay, thank you. Suramya Mataji, yes, Mataji, one more time.
Mataji, unless we are in the mood of surrender, our intelligence cannot be sharpened. So if we want advice from gurus, we have to go to them in the mood of surrender.
Must be done in the mood of surrender. Thank you, very nice. Acha, jaldi se. Madhumai Krishna Kant Mataji.
Krishna Mataji, how we can get out of this material world? By associating with pure devotees. But by associating with pure devotees, one gets a perfect knowledge. And through the perfect knowledge, we can cut the material association or illusory association. And then we get also chance to do the service with the pure devotees association. So our dormant Krishna consciousness becomes evoked.
Very nice, thank you. So, cut the illusion by weapon of transcendental knowledge and service to the lotus feet of pure devotee opens pathway to spiritual world and devotional service. Very nice, thank you. Madhu Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The living entity has nothing to do with this, like bodily pains and pleasure. They are like mental concoction, like temporary.
Okay,
Like
so
the soul has nothing to do with worldly dealing, Mataji. Like
not
what
the body, but I am in the body. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, thank you. And something else? Anything else? Anybody else?
Non-duality is the only truth.
Yeah, we said this. Non-duality. Prafulla Mataji said that.
Yes,
Non-duality. But thank you.
Mataji, we must follow the instruction of our Guru, Admiha Guru, spiritual master.
And why you must follow the instruction of a spiritual master?
If you have any doubt about attain the lotus feet of God, you go and ask any doubts to your spiritual master.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Prema Priya Mataji question.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah, the Guru has seen what we have yet to see. So with his experience and knowledge, we have to get enlightened, Mataji. One thing, and secondly, the soul is really not affected by the bodily miseries, because as you said, a little while earlier we were discussing, when someone says, "How are you?" we say we are fine. So we have a lot of problems, Mataji, but really we feel fine. That's very interesting and intriguing. So we have a lot of bodily pains, but we feel we are fine only. I think slowly the soul is getting detached from the body. I feel so.
So nice. Well, you might because you are a devotee, Prema Priya Jayashree Mataji, but in general, I was talking in general, when we say somebody say how are you and I'm fine, we are not telling the truth. I read a study a few months ago. There's a study on sociology. I think is that there is this person who asked, "How are you?" and documented the response of the people. Like he asked 500 people, okay, 500 people. He asked, "How are you?" Like two people, he's not asking, but two people asking, and he's documenting the response. And out of the 500 people, he reported that if somebody replied to the "How are you?" question as, "I have this problem," or "I am facing this challenge," or "I am not doing good," the person who asked the question will not inquire any further. So basically, the interest is lost. But if somebody says that, "Oh, I'm okay," or "I'm good, how about you?" then there is this little bit of a conversation, you see. So basically, not only are we not telling the honest answer, but we also don't want to know the honest answer from others.
But we feel good. I've seen some bishops, Mataji, in the last terminal stages. When we went to ask them, they said, fine. Actually, their life is so uncertain with certain terminal diseases. They say, I'm fine. And they ask us, how are you actually? But they are in actually the fire of all the pains and all that. But then I was really surprised. They're so cool and calm. Absolutely. I somehow feel sometimes that experience comes, Mataji. I don't know.
Yes, in Krishna consciousness, we get that because there is this weapon, this shield of Krishna consciousness, which protects us from day to day turmoils. I agree. But I was just talking about in general.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Mataji.
I agree with you.
Thank you, Krishna Mataji.
Okay, I think we did enough now. Tomorrow we can do chapter 3, Wala. But the mnemonic for chapter 3 is tree.
Mataji, can we add one more point there?
Go ahead.
That the non-dual knowledge is the ultimate truth, like the Tannejati,
This Prafulla Mataji, Shubharao Prabhu, both of them said the same thing.
Okay.
But you have to explain. I'm not writing it because it sounds Mayavad. What does it mean? Non-dual knowledge.
Non-dual, we are facing all the dualities, like we are happy, we are sad.
But not non-dual knowledge. Knowledge नहीं ना absolute truth होता है. Knowable होता है ना absolute. You see, knowledge itself is not so powerful, but the person who possesses that knowledge, or is the cause of that knowledge, which is Bhagwan, which is Krishna, right? I didn't write it deliberately because it sounds like Mayavad, unless not we understand. But I agree, as long as you are understanding it properly.
Mataji also explained about bad association, Mataji.
Madhu Mataji, what?
Yeah, we should be cautious about bad association, like it lowers down our consciousness.
हाँ, तो वो हमने materialistic association, avoid materialistic association के बारे में हमने बात की थी, right? What is a materialistic association? It's not that we are going to label people good and bad, because the weakness is not in people, the weakness is in us.
Mataji, also my realization, Mataji, now I got the answer, like why Guru takes us from sadhana bhakti to bhav bhakti, Mataji. Somebody goes to directly bhav bhakti, this is the result, like how Jad Bharata is again and again saying. So once Guru takes us through sadhana bhakti, like it takes time, but yeah, we go through the realization and we fixed end of the day, Mataji. So
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Mataji.
Very nice. Okay.
Mataji, hearing with attention also comes under.
Very nice. So, what do you want me to write?
Like constant hearing with association of the devotees with attention. That takes us to go devotional.
Is the key.
Much pure, makes us pure devotee. That way.
Okay, Sharna is the key for pure devotional service.
Conversations are avoided, like routine, this social and other stories will not